see if I remember how to do this. It's been a hot minute, so let's see. Is it? Oh, that's right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is another live stream here on Oak Bridge Farm. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Oh, baby, we're back. We're back here on Oak Bridge Farm, and I couldn't be happier. As you can see, we are finally in the new house. We have moved. We are rocking and rolling with that front. It is a little bit messy. I do apologize for it, but hey, slow and steady wins the race. Am I right? Oh my goodness. How's everybody doing tonight? Like I said, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day so far. Let's go ahead and check out the chat and see what everybody's saying so far. We got Ken Adlam. How's it going, Ken? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. It says, what up, people? Pippa, how you doing? Hope you're having a great one as well. It says, hi, BDD. Reaver Time Todd says second, actually technically third. Reaver says Sky. We also got Luke Marshall. Luke, how you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says, hello, everyone, with the wave. We got Ken says, please hit that like, subscribe, share button to help out BDD's channel. I greatly appreciate that. He also shared all the custom badge, or all the custom emojis, I should say. Chat, how you doing? Hope you're having a great one as well. Says, hey everyone, hope all is well. Going fantastic. Let's see, we got Ken says, what up, Luke? Chet says, hey Luke. We got Ken says, what up, Chet? Luke says, what happened to the background? LOL. I moved from my old home, and now I am back out in the country. Tell you what, tell me what you all think of how all the settings are right now on the channel. Is everything coming through all nice and clear? I hope so. Been kind of tweaking things in the background because unfortunately I don't have as good of internet as I did when I was in the old house. Had really good internet there, but I'm hoping that the way I've got it all set up is, you know, all thumbs up, ready to go. Let's see. We got Chet says, hey to Ken. We got Luke says, you need pics on the wall. I'm getting there. I'm absolutely getting there. I do apologize if there's a bit of an echo as well, because there's nothing on the walls. There's nothing dead in the sound. But my plan is that slowly but surely, I've only been here since Wednesday. So not even a week. Not even a week. Been working on the rest of the house. The rest of the house has been just an absolute landfill, trying to get everything out of boxes. We have literally a mountain of boxes I've got to run to the dump tomorrow. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff that we're doing, and I have never been so tired in my life. Between the two children under 3 years old, and moving, and putting together all sorts of stuff, and cleaning and cooking and doing all the normal stuff, like all that stuff, and we still haven't even gotten the pod yet. So we got a pod with all the big heavy equipment. That's not even scheduled until I think the 26th, I think. And then we've got the U-Haul, which is what I brought all the kind of like, we need this stuff right here, right now kind of thing. So it was one of those where we just kind of rock and rolled. We got everything we needed to get, and we're good to go from there. But let's go ahead and do this here. There we go. All right. So if we all remember... Oh, there's no echo? Oh, perfect. Thank you, Ken, and I appreciate it. It says, echo, what echo? There is no echo here. Oh, my goodness. But like I said, if there is one, it will get better, I promise. So if we all remember, we have got a bunch of stuff to do here on the farm. And more specifically, not that button, more specifically, we had ourselves kind of a challenge that was laid out, a gauntlet, as you will, by Jonah and Reaver Time Todd. Thank you again, both, and thank you, Todd, for your super chat on the last stream. So for those who remember, the challenge that was put through is on this field 5 here. I need to essentially, and Todd, keep me honest here, I need to plow out this field with first person, no GPS, no workers, nothing like that. It's all got to be done manually. So again, Todd, keep me honest with this one. I do believe I kind of captured the spirit of the challenge, but it's been a hot minute. It's been what, I think the 6th is the last stream that we ended up doing here. So again, correct me if I'm wrong, or fill me in if I'm missing out on something. Oh, and creative field turn on. Yes, thank you. Let me hop in and do that real quick. I'm gonna turn my whole chair here in just a second. Let's see, create fields. Okay, there we go. All right, so now everything ought to be set. Also, we've got a contract that we accepted up in the top right-hand corner. You can see a bale wrapping contract. That does not apply to that one. As far as I'm aware, I think it only applied to this particular job here. So that is what we're going to get ready to do. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to turn my chair. Hopefully I got enough cord on my... there we go. I think I'm still in frame. Everything's good to go. Let's do this. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So yeah, it has been an interesting couple of weeks. As I mentioned, just closed on the new house, closed on it on Wednesday. Let's drop this down. And actually, let me turn up the volume ever so slightly because I can't hear anything. Let me check. Okay, I do have audio piped through. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and get going. So anyways, we ended up closing on the house just on Wednesday, and holy smokes, was that... Oh man, I'm already off. I'm already way off. I am so... Oh my goodness, I'm gonna make such a hash out of this. I can already tell. Ay, ay, ay. What are you doing to me, Reaper? Todd, what are you doing to me? Oh my goodness. This is what you wanted me to do. This is the torture you wanted me to go through. Something like that here. All right, so drop that down. All right, so let me tell you how all right, so let's start at the somewhat the beginning. So what ended up happening was on last Tuesday, a week from today, I ended up getting a semi-frantic call from my realtor. My realtor has been an absolute rock star throughout this whole process and has been, going above and beyond, in my opinion, to be able to, make sure that I'm in the best of position as possible to be able to, close on the house and sell off the old one and kind of go from there. So he ends up calling me kind of sort of in a panic on Tuesday, and he's like, "Hey Dave, I need you to do me a favor." I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" And he's like, "I need you to go up on your roof." I'm like, "My roof? Why do you need me to go up my roof?" He's like, I need you to go up on your roof. I need you to go take pictures, but I need you to take pictures of a specific section of the roof. Like, I'm sitting here like, okay, and it's like, what section? He's like, just above the cars where they're parked. And my old house, it has a carport. So I'm like, oh, okay, if that's what you need, then sure, I'll get you what you need. And he's like, perfect, go ahead and send me the pictures as soon as you can, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm like, all right, well, if that's what you need, and then, I'll do what I got to do. So I will go ahead and, send him the pictures he wants, and he's like, all right, this is perfect. I'll go ahead and get a hold of you, later on today or day of signing. So this is the day before we're supposed to close on the sale of my old home, and later on that same day we're supposed to close on the sale of the new home. So I'm just sitting there trying to, wrap my brain around, like, why all of a sudden does he need all these pictures? And he's like, send me dozens of pictures. Just inundate my inbox with a whole bunch of pictures, as many as you can take. Like, okay, so yeah, like I said, I took as many pictures as I could, sent them over to him. I sent him multiple text messages with all these different pictures in it, and I'm like, I hope this is what you're looking for. He says, yeah, that's fine. We're good to go. And I don't think of anything beyond that. It's like, okay, well, he's not, screaming and yelling, and he's not upset, so, I'm certainly not going to be upset. Well, later on, we're putting all the finishing touches on, the house and doing everything that we need to do, clean up and all that stuff. And, thankfully, like I mentioned, we had gotten a pod for a lot of the bigger stuff. Well, that was for like the garage stuff, because I had a garage that was basically my shop, and I had all the big heavy tools. I had a monster air compressor, and like it ran off a 220. I think it was like a 50-gallon air compressor. This thing is huge. As well as all the other shop tools that I had at my disposal. And the people who are buying the home, they're first-time home buyers. And I'm like, wow, there's so much furniture, there's so much stuff that we've got that we don't need in the new home. And my wife and I are like, oh, we're going to end up having to throw out most of this stuff. Like, the vast majority of stuff, not vast majority, but a good chunk of it is going to have to get thrown out, because we got so much stuff that we just don't have room for in the new place. And turns out, it dawned on me, it's like, oh, wait, these people are like first-time home buyers, so more than likely they're not going to have a ton of furniture. They're certainly not going to have a lot of money for furniture and stuff, and we knew they were first-time home buyers because they were signing up for an FHA loan. And I ended up reaching out to my my realtor and asking, it's like, hey, can you get a hold of the buyer's realtor, or the buyers, and ask them, because we got quite a bit of furniture that we're just not going to take with us, because we just, oh no, stop, I accidentally pushed a button. I went to raise it. I swear, did not hire him on purpose. It was on accident. Don't yell at me. So we end up, asking them to get a hold of them to see if they want some of this furniture, because we're just going to throw it out otherwise. And it's gutting us. It's absolute gutting us, because we got, a fair bit that we're just not going to be able to use. Case in point, the couch that I sat on, in my streams, stop pushing buttons. I'm trying to raise the plow, not hire workers. So that couch, like, I'm in a bedroom now. This is going to be my office, and it's a bedroom. So I don't have room for a couch in here. So it's just going to be, just thrown out. We tried selling it at first, and unfortunately nobody wanted to buy it. So it was one of those, like, well, we might as well just leave it and kind of go from there. And we did that with several things, and they were willing to. Oh, I need gas. I need fuel. They were willing to take, all the furniture and all the stuff. So it prevented us from having to sell stuff, but more importantly to me, I didn't have to move a lot of the heavy stuff, the heavy stuff. Like that couch, it's like all metal underneath, really, really heavy. It's it's got the reclining chairs and the convertible in the middle. So yeah, it would have been an absolute nightmare to do. I was not looking forward to that one at all. And that's when we decided, okay, well, if we can't sell this thing and we can't get somebody out here to help me lift this up and move it, then we're just going to go ahead and, kind of call it from there. So all in all, that all kind of worked out. So fast forward to, the day of the signing. So this would have been Wednesday, so a week from tomorrow. And what ended up happening, actually, let me catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll continue the story. It'll be a nice little break here. So we got, Ken says, watch the stream from the hospital again. Oh, Ken, I'm sorry that you're still there, bud, but hopefully you get out here soon. Let's see. Reaver says, you can turn around and look, duh. Well, I know that. I know that. I'm turning around. I'm doing it. Luke says, what happened, Ken? Ken says, my heart started beat out of sync. Doctors basically jump-started my heart back to normal rhythmic beats. Luke says, that's not good. Hope you feel better. Yes, absolutely. Give Ken a big thumbs up in the chat, hoping that you feel better here and get to go home very soon. Ken says, I must be improved. They took me off the heart monitor today. Nice. Nice. Joseph, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says, love the new space. And hi, BDD. Well, thank you, Joseph. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. So, like I mentioned, so fast forward to a week from tomorrow. So it was a week ago almost. And I'm just kind of going about my day, getting ready and doing everything we got to do in order to leave the house. About 11 o'clock rolls around and we're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and take off now and we're going to start heading out. I'm driving the big old U-Haul. I've got a friend of the family here who they ended up taking one of my cars to the new house. And then my brother-in-law was there, my father-in-law was there. So I had basically, as many people as I could wrangle into helping out as I possibly could. Had my father, he moved along with us to the new place, and he got his RV, because that's where he lives, is in the RV. And he ends up, he's taking that. I'm taking the U-Haul. My wife's towing a trailer. The whole 9 yards. Like, we've got so much stuff that we're just basically a giant convoy, and I'm bringing up the rear. Well, all of a sudden, I'm still driving to the new house because what our plan was, we're dropping off everything. We were just gonna drop everything off, and then we were gonna, kind of hang out, get some lunch, and wait for the signing, wait for the keys, and all that stuff. Well, what ends up happening is my dad shows up, and then shortly after my wife gets there, and there's somebody there waiting, and they are taking the lockbox off of the house, and they take the keys out of the lockbox and they hand them directly to my wife. And they're like, here you go, here's the keys. And I have no idea, I wasn't there, but I'm getting this kind of story secondhand, but presuming that these are the owners. And my wife calls me and she's like, look, we just got here and somebody is handed us the keys, and what do I do? Do we go inside? Do we start unloading? What do we do? And I'm like, well, I mean, you got the key, I guess we can start unloading. I mean, if they didn't want us in there, then they wouldn't have given us the key. That makes sense to me. So stop pushing the button. So as we are, going through and unloading and doing all that stuff, I finally show up with the big truck. I get parked in the driveway and the whole 9 yards. And about 11:30, maybe around 11:45, my realtor calls and says, okay, be in such and such, be at this location between 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. There you'll be able to finish your signings and you'll be able to sign for the house. Everything's all good to go. Like, okay, perfect. So we end up, I tell him, okay, I'll be there at 3 o'clock on the dot, because I just want this to be over with and all this stuff. Well, of course, things kind of, ran behind, and we ended up, going a little bit longer than what I was originally kind of anticipating. So ended up showing up there at 3:30 and walk inside, and the title company that we showed up at is basically an old decommissioned bank. And the bank, they set us up inside the vault, and they have all the old safety deposit boxes and all that kind of stuff still in the vault. Just all the keys, like the locking mechanisms, are taken off the boxes. So I thought that was kind of cool. And they just basically slapped a big old conference table inside of the vault. And they're like, okay, well, this is our title company now. Well, we end up, sitting there for a few minutes. And then all of a sudden this woman walks up and says, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm going to be, processing your everything we got to do here at, the title signings and all that stuff. And then she's like, and now here's the bad news. I'm like, no bad news. No bad news whatsoever. I don't want to hear bad news. I only want to know that here's the paperwork, sign here, cross the T's, dot the I's. That's all we wanted to do. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong? And they're like, well, your money for the down payment hasn't come through yet. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean it hasn't come through yet? She's like, the couple that were buying your house haven't bought it yet. They were supposed to buy it that morning. Like, everything was supposed to be done, over with. A double. It's called like a double close, I guess. To where we sell in the morning, we buy in the evening, kind of thing. And it was one of those where I was assured, oh yeah, everything's fine. Everything's shaping up to be normal and good to go. No problem. So she's like, well, we don't have the money to put down towards your down payment. And because we don't have the money for your down payment, that means that we can't let you take residency of the home today. This is absolute nightmare scenario, because I've got not only myself, I've got my father-in-law, I've got my brother-in-law, I've got my 2 kids, I've got my wife, I've got my father, I've got 2 dogs, they're laying down there like big lumps. My father has 2 dogs. Like, us just getting a hotel for the evening is just not a thing. It is, like I said, this is absolute nightmare fuel for us. And we're like, so what's going on? She's like, well, we don't know. We can't really tell you what's going on their end. We can only tell you that things didn't proceed with the buyers. So my wife and I are panicking. We're absolutely panicking. Like I said, it's 3:30 when they tell us this. And then she's like, okay, let me go check our records. Let's go check our accounts and see if the money has shown up. If the money's shown up, then there's still time we can work this stuff out. So she goes back there. It's now about 3:45 when she comes walking back into the room. And she's like, okay, the money's here. Everything's done. Sold your house. Congratulations. Now we're going to buy you the next house. Okay, fine and dandy. Now, the way they explained it to us was we were able to, pay for any remaining balances after our down payment that we use from the proceeds of the sale of our home. So we're like, okay, that's all fine and dandy. We'll be able to pay, no problem. We've got the money, no problem. All's good. So we get to the very end, and she's like, okay, well, how are you going to transfer the money? How are you going to wire the money? And it's like, well, we were told we could just, pay for it. Like, we weren't told we had to have a wire. So, oh, no, you have to have a wire. It has to go in escrow, and it has to go, these specific channels, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, that's not what you all told us. We specifically asked, like, can we, set this up via check or via, debit card, whatever. Like, we asked this and you all agreed and said that was fine. It's like, oh, no, that's not how it works. And I was like, okay, well, where's the closest, bank? Such and such bank. Because we're in a city I've never been to before. I've never been here. So I have no idea where anything's at. I'm starting to frantically, search up on my phone and all this stuff, because we still owe thousands of dollars, and we have to get this done. We're panicking. We're absolutely panicking, my wife and I. Well, mainly I. So my wife, she's trying to, be like, okay, it's okay, we'll figure this out. And I'm like, I know we'll figure this out. I wasn't panicking. I was angry. I was really angry, because it was just like everybody assured me that everything was going good. Everything was, all fine and dandy. No worries. And now all of a sudden, the day of, and I don't have a home anymore. That's all I'm sitting there thinking. I don't have a home. I don't have a place to stay. I don't have a way to house myself, my 2 children, my wife, my dogs, my father-in-law, my brother-in-law. I'm really, really upset when everything's all said and done. And I'm like, okay, well, let's figure this out. Let's try and get this done. Let me catch up with the chat here real quick. Joseph says, are there plans for a PC upgrade, or are you staying console loyal? You know what, Joseph? Honestly, I think I'm going to jump ship eventually. Before too much longer, I think I'm going to jump ship and I'm going to go to PC. I just keep seeing all these cool things that the PC people can do that I can't. And I want to be able to experience that full immersion that Farming Simulator has to offer. So one of these days, I'm going to make the leap. Just got to be able to afford it, you know. And especially now that I'm in the new digs and all that stuff, you know, that's all just going to take some time. All going to take some time. Joseph also says, I am moving for a new job and it's super stressful. Ugh, LO. It is. Moving is extremely, extremely stressful. But, you know, hang in there. It's you're going to get through it. You know, unfortunately, I can speak with confidence now that here we are. I'm through it. I'm through it. Samuel, how's it going, Samuel? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says, ABDD live stream is back. It is back. We are back. So glad to be back. Reaver says, how did your wife do pulling a trailer for the first time? She did an amazing job. An amazing job. I was so tickled pink. I was so proud of how well she did. She did one time before that. We ended up doing a dump run right before we ended up leaving the house. And I'm like, okay, this is your opportunity to be able to pull this trailer, you know, with some weight in it so you can understand what you're kind of getting into. And she did really good. Like, she did really, really good. I was really, really proud of her. And like I said, she had never done it before, that dump run, and she did it with, you know, flying colors. Let's see. Dirty Nelson, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. It says, how's everyone doing? Doing fantastic. Thank you for adding. David Butterworth, how's it going? Hope you're having a great one. Haven't seen you around in a while. There. Hope you're having a great one. Says, hey up guys. Hey BDD, long time no speak. Hope you're doing good. Doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. David says to Dirty, says, I'm good, thank you. Joseph says, come to the dark side. Come to the dark side. We will get you there. Joseph with a wave to Dirty. We got Samuel says, you okay, BDD? Moving trip, new home. Doing fantastic. We are finally in the new home. We are here. I'm actually in the midst of telling the story of the nightmare that was Wednesday, the day of the signing. So let's continue on. So basically, we're sitting there, we're scrambling at this point. We're trying to figure out where the closest bank is. And we're in a pretty decent sized city at this point. So we're trying to figure out, you know, one, how to navigate there, two, how long it's going to take us. It was literally a mile and a half away. But this mile and a half, number one, it felt like forever because it was forever. It was just right before 5 o'clock. So there was traffic. There was just all sorts of stuff going on. So we're just scrambling. I get to my bank, and there is a line of people out the door. And I don't know if I just had absolute sheer panic just written all over my face, but somebody came walking up to me. It's like, sir, is everything okay? I'm like, no, not everything's okay. I need to do a wire transfer, and it needs to be there by 4:30, or else I can't take occupancy of a home. Like, I've got to get this done. And now by this time, it is 4:15-ish, like, give or take. So I'm just beside myself. Like, I'm inside, I'm just like screaming, just in panic mode. And they're like, okay, both of our officers are busy right now. We'll go ahead and have you hand it over to them as soon as they free up. And he's just kind of sitting there just chit-chatting with me and doing all that stuff and just being a genuinely nice person. And I'm like, finally somebody comes up and stands beside him. I'm like, okay, you're the officer who's going to take care of the wire transfer? And she's like, I am. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And I told her, it's like, okay, I need this done like as fast as you can. Please, please, as fast as you can. And I explained to her, it's like, okay, this is what's going on, so all this stuff. And throughout the entirety of the thing, she's just wanting to sit there and make small talk. Nope, no, don't. She's wanting to sit there and make small talk, and she's stopping what she's doing to make the small talk. So I'm trying my best to be as like pleasant as I possibly can, while at the same time keeping my answers as short as possible, so as to not like encourage more small talk that's going to stop her from doing the things that she needs to do. And again, she's being super nice and super helpful, and it's just, like I said, I'm just sitting there like really just genuinely concerned as to, what am I going to do if I'm not able to take occupancy of this home. And finally, we get done. And I look at the clock. It's 4:45. We are officially 15 minutes behind when we had to have it done. I'm like, crap. So I get out of there, hop back in the car. We make our way over to the title company, and we walk inside. And the person that we were, scheduled to be there and talking with, they specifically say, I'm leaving here at 4:30. My daughter has a recital, and I've got to be there, by such and such time. I'm like, okay, that's no problem. Do everything we can to get back here as quickly as possible. And again, she was an absolute superstar, because I don't know if I would have done this, but she actually stayed behind. She actually stayed behind to be able to... Oh. Uh-oh. My microphone's blocking that part of the screen. I ran out of fuel. Well, there's my fuel. There's my tractor. Fuel, tractor, fuel, tractor. Well then, we're going to have to lease some equipment. Something cheap. Just to be able to get some fuel over to me. Let's see. Quickie. What's funny is I literally looked at the fuel. Oh, I forgot to delete those mods. Oh well. I literally looked at the fuel tank not too long ago, and it's like, oh, I gotta refuel, and I just got so wrapped up in the story that I completely forgot. Completely forgot. Where in the world is the gas? I know I've got a mod that has like gas I can bring to this. This is all bales. Pallets? Is it pallets? There it is. Diesel. Holy smokes. But then the question of how to get it there. Let's see. We got Ken says console good side, PC dark side, lol. Jody, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says hi. Dirty says hey guys, how are you doing? I'm good, David. Awesome. Ken says what up, Jody. Dirty says Joe, how goes it, man? We got Reaver says 5-gallon gas can, yes. And so Benji, how's it going? Hope you're having a great one as well. Says good evening, everyone. Good evening, Benji. Now let's see. How can I get it there? So I figured out where it's at. That's weed free. Fillable pallets. I don't want that. Alright, so I guess that's really the only option I have is this here. And then maybe a front loader. Can I get one cheap? Okay, $3,000. Oof. This was a expensive mistake. $11 miles an hour. How fast does this go? 12 miles an hour. Ugh. Ugh. 17 miles an hour. 26 miles an hour. All right, now we're talking. All right, there we go. Let's do that. We'll have this thing just go skittering around town. And you know what? In the spirit of the exercise here, because we are in the midst of a challenge, how are you supposed to see? Ugh, right in the way. Can we drop that down maybe? Bring this back. Alright, there we go. This thing actually goes 26 miles. It really does go 26 miles an hour. Oh wow, listen to that gravel. Alright, so anyways, so we get back to the title company. The lady was so nice, she actually stayed around, and she's like, alright, so I got some good news. So I reached out to the seller, and the seller has stated that you can take occupancy as long as you have a receipt of the wire transfer. As long as you got the receipt, confirming that you sent it, we don't necessarily, oh dear, no. We don't necessarily have to have the money in our account tonight. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Because, like I said, trying to figure out all that with all those people would have been an absolute and utter disaster. And, like I mentioned, because we got there so early, quote unquote early, it was after 11 o'clock, and they gave us the keys right away, we started unloading the whole truck. We started unloading. We started unpacking, getting things into the home. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Like, we're going to have to rip everything back out again if they're not going to let us take occupancy. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that works. So basically, unbeknownst to me, my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, absolute rock stars, by the way, absolute superstars. We're out and about. We're doing everything we have to do in order to sign and get the house under control and do everything we got to do there. They, by themselves, look at that! Just the ruts! Oh, the ruts are a thing. Oh, 5 miles an hour. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I don't know why that just came into my brain, but come on, you got this. I have faith in you. Come on. Oh, it's so close, so close. I think I can, and we're there. Let me go. Oh, can I please? Am I not close enough? Oh, I'm not even close. Oh, just give it a tap. Just give it a tap. Tap, taparoo. Hey. Zip. Glug, 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 glug. Oh, I can turn it back on. It lives. All right. In the spirit of the challenge, first person travel, First person unload, first person refill. There we go. So yeah, when everything was finally all said and done, we were able to take occupancy, we were able to go through and do everything, even though we didn't technically own the place until Thursday morning. So yeah, it was extremely stressful day, but when everything was said and done, it worked out just fine, thankfully. Thankfully, it worked out just fine. Come on, you got this, All right. Oh, it's unloading automatically. I didn't expect that. Cool. All right, let's get rid of this thing. This screen. Vehicles. This one, yes. Return. All right. It's running. It's good to go. Drop that down. There we go. Now we're full again. We can rock and roll. So anyways, yeah, that is how the week was. It was such a crazy week. And then, like I said, they got everything off the truck, unloaded into the home. They basically just staged everything in the garage, which is exactly what we wanted them to do. I mean, it was absolute, awesome. Love my father-in-law, love my brother-in-law. They're both amazing. They did such a great job. Big shout out to my buddy him and his wife, they took my vehicle and they drove it and they helped out as best as they could. I mean, yeah, it was just, we're here. We're finally here. Back out kind of the country. It's certainly more country than what I've had over the past 15 years. Yeah, it's nice. It's quiet. I mean, that's what I was looking for, was just quiet and peace, and I finally got it. I was telling my brother-in-law, he's like, I really like it out here. It's really nice and peaceful, and the people are really nice. He's like, I went to the store, went to Walmart, because there's a Walmart in town, and he's like, I went to Walmart and people were actually genuinely nice to me. The workers were actually nice to me. They actually said, hi, how are you? Can't tell you the number of times that I've gone to any store and the people are just so indifferent or so kind of bleh about their situation that they have zero effort in customer service. So I was explaining to him, it's like, the whole reason that I came out here was specifically for this, was for the small town living. And I told him, it's like, every time I left my house, when I was in the old house, I was mad. Every time I left, I was mad. Every time I was home, I was mad. I was always mad about something. Whether it was, people come by at 2 o'clock in the morning thumping their music, at absurdly loud volumes, and just stopping at the street corner because I was on a corner lot at my old place, and they would stop there at the stop sign. And they'd just be just sitting there, just thumping their music at all sorts of ungodly times in the morning. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. The neighbors across the street from me would throw parties because they had teenage sons. They ranged in ages from their early 20s to late teens, because a couple of them were still in high school, and one of them was having a graduation party with a whole bunch of their buddies. So it was such a big party that literally the streets were lined with all sorts of cars for blocks. It was like a big party. And at some point, it was 3 o'clock in the morning one morning. It was actually just shortly after I had gotten done with a stream. There was a fight. A fight broke out in the midst of this graduation party. So it was just all sorts of chaos and loud noise and all sorts of stuff. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. But now I'm kind of back out in the country. The reason I say kind of is, I'm not. I've kind of got it into perspective of like where I used to live in Michigan. Like that to me was country. Like I grew up on a 300-acre farm, lived there until I was 8, and then moved to a 12-acre home. So like that to me is like country. I think most people would look at where I'm at now and it's like, oh no, you're in the country. Like you're out. Like nah. I mean, where I grew up, there was no internet. Like the best you could do is like satellite internet. Now this was also well over 20 years ago. You figure because I moved here in 2004. I moved to Florida in 2004. So I mean, all things being equal. I mean, I'm pretty certain that even still to this day that like my old home up there in Michigan still doesn't have internet, like high-speed internet. Like you could get like Starlink or something like that, but you can't get you can't get like an actual like cable or fiber or anything like that. So it's just one of those where I don't know, but like I said, I questioned earlier, how is the stream coming through? Like I said, I've got things kind of set up to where I think, like I had to tweak things and I had to downgrade it from where it was because I had really good internet. I had, fiber, with symmetrical speeds. So it was a 1 gig connection. It was 1 up, 1 down kind of thing. But I don't have that anymore. I've got cable, and it's now a kind of. I had to make some adjustments. So let me know how the stream's doing. Let me know how things are going. I know that during agribusiness on Sunday, there was a bit of lag, especially towards the beginning of the stream. And that was when I kind of figured out, oh, hey, I've got to make some adjustments. My settings are too high, and my internet just can't keep up. But I think I've got it to where I'm kind of at that sweet spot that, where I'm at the highest level my internet can handle, while at the same time, while at the same time being able to having good quality as well. So, like I said, let me know in the comments if things are kind of, hey. Todd, what are you doing to me, man? What are you doing to me? Here we go. So, let's see. Let's check out the chat. Let's see what everyone's chatting about so far. We got, where was I? Where? There we go. Jody says, how's everybody's day? Doing fantastic, Jody. Thank you for asking. Samuel says, crazy storm at Kentucky. Joseph says, I'm good. Awesome. Samuel says, prayers for people in Kentucky. Sad. I didn't hear about that. I need to adjust. I'm not in my comfy chair anymore, so I gotta keep adjusting. Let's see. Ken says, use motor oil to deliver gas, LOL. We got Samuel says, Hook tornado now at Knox County, Tennessee. Oh man, that's a shame. Hopefully everybody's okay. Ken says, oh, never mind, that forklift will do that too. Luke says, bad shortcut. That's as good as I could get. Todd says, did you prime the engine first? Oh, you know what? I had the gremlins do it. That's what happened. Or you know what? Jasper did it for me. Thank you, Jasper. Big shout out to Jasper. The friendly farmyard ghost. Klaus, unfortunately, was the one that siphoned all the gas out in the first place. Let's see. Benji says, you definitely don't want to drive in the snow. And oh yeah, I would have gotten stuck in that big time. Will, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Says, yo, what up, Will? Benji says, hey to Will. We got Ken says, first person to get a forklift stuck in the field. Luke says, congratulations on a new house. Thank you, Luke. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, it's my wife and I said that when we had our second kid, we were going to have to do something because we lived in a 2-bedroom trailer, mobile home. And we had known for many years that was not a place that we wanted to raise our kids. We like, even when our first daughter was confirmed, she was, kind of, on her way kind of thing. We knew that's not where we wanted to be. There was too many issues with the area. It was not the safest of places and all that stuff. So it was one of those, we knew we wanted to do something. We worked and we worked and we worked really, really hard to try and make it a reality. And here we are. We're here. We're finally here. So going to keep on, working hard and doing what we have to do in order to, make sure that we give our kids the best life that they can have. And we think that this is going to be the best spot for them for that. So really, excited, really happy, proud even, that we are finally in a place that we can be proud of. I couldn't say that about the last home. It was fine when it was my wife and I, because, we are able to, protect ourselves. But definitely an area where we had to sleep with one eye open, in the old home. Now we don't have to do that. Let's see. Where was I? Ken says, what up to Will? Will says, BDD, I'll be having a dedicated server going after the Plains and Prairies comes out. Nice. Benji, Will says, hey to Benji and to Ken. Will also says, would you like to co-host a dedicated server, BDD? You and I can add mods to it. Yeah, absolutely. Hit me up sometime and we'll figure it out. Luke says, hey to Benji. We got Will says it will be open to people we know, like Jonah, Whiskey, Ken. It'll be a realistic gameplay, no unrealistic mods. Oh, boo! I want some Riley Christie in there. Riley Christie, Chris and Riley S. Wow, where did I get Riley Christie? No, Chris and Riley. That's the one I meant. The Colossus pack. Anyways, Ken says that's so cool, Will. We also got Ken saying can't see any lag, but awesome. Glad to hear it. Let's see. Benji says hey to Luke. Luke says so I posted a short on YouTube this morning. It was a hit. Awesome, Luke. I'll have to go check it out after the stream. Jonah, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says I'm slipping. You are slipping, Jonah. You are not even the first, second, third, or fourth. Now you're not even in the top 10 of commenters here tonight. So I don't know what's going on with you here. I almost sent out a search party. I'm going to be honest. Almost did a missing 411 for you. It's a reference to a channel I've been watching here a lot here lately called Mr. Ballin. Does I have mentioned a few times here on the channel where they do a bunch of kind of creepy, scary, horror, drama kind of storytelling, almost like campfire stories. And yeah, they have a series called the Missing 411 where he discuss a specific person. I forget his name. He was a former cop, and they discuss all these people who just basically go out into the woods and they basically get eaten by the woods. So they're there one day, they could be talking to their loved one, and then the next second, in the next sentence, they're gone. They're just completely gone. Yeah, it is crazy. Ken says, Jonah! Samuel says, I'm good, okay, it's hot in Vicksburg. Yes, it's hot in Vicksburg, it's hot in Florida. It's going to be really hot where I'm at. It's supposed to be in the mid-90s come later on this week. I'm not looking forward to that one. Jasper, how's it going? Says you're welcome. Thank you, Jasper. Greatly appreciate your help. As always, Benji says, hey, Jonah. Jonah says, been such a busy day, I completely forgot to see if you were going to go live today. Jonah, I'm disappointed in you, bud. Disappointed. You're slipping. It's okay. I'll forgive you. Benji says, hey to Jasper. Samuel says, hurricane season next month, June 1st to November 30th. Oh, yes. Yes. But thankfully, in the new house here, it is certainly better than the tin can I was in. That's why we kept having to run. Every single time that we were projected to get a storm anywhere near us, we would have to evacuate all the time, as we lived in a trailer in Florida in hurricanes. I mean, yeah. I mean, we were lucky that things were not as things didn't happen. That could have been so much worse. But I mean, knock on wood, everything's better now. Better now. I'm in a block home, hurricane rated, like the whole nine. So really, really happy about that. Also pyramid roof, which is like optimal in this state. Again, really happy about that. Will says, Bree and I are planning to come visit BDD at some point this year or next year. That'd be awesome, dude. Absolutely. Will says, I'll be streaming on Twitch tomorrow. Awesome. Have to go check it out. Go check out Will at Steininator 24. You know what? Instead of me guessing, Will, just put it in the chat. Just put it in the chat. Don't make me guess. Will says, Jonah. Samuel says, mail P.O. box address. So I don't have a P.O. box set up just yet, but I will be getting one here before too much longer. I'm still trying to get everything all settled and all that stuff. I literally just put the mailbox out in the front because it's a new home. So I had to put the mailbox in and do all that stuff just yesterday. Jonah says, are you having fun with the challenge yet? It's interesting. I mean, I think I'm doing good. I think I'm doing all right. Will says, I told BDD that I would help plow the fields. LOL. Thank you, Will. Steininator24. Yeah, so go check out Will on Twitch there at Steininator24. Thank you so much there, bud. Let's get back to this. So yeah, it's been just an absolute just a melee. Ended up taking the entire week off of work last week, so I had as much time as I could to dedicate. I am so physically exhausted. I don't think I've ever been this physically exhausted, which is probably why I'm likely going to have a hard stop on tonight's stream, just so I can continue to try and catch up with some sleep. Because yeah, it's been a trip. And like I said, we haven't even gotten the heavy stuff yet. We haven't even gotten like the shop stuff. And really don't even have anywhere to put it at the moment per se, because we've got a shed that's getting delivered here the next let's go this way. Hold on, and swoop, drop. So yeah, we're gonna have a shed that's being delivered here in the next week or two. So yeah, that's gonna get dropped off, and then we've got to move all the stuff from the pod into the shed. So yeah, it's so much stuff going on. But it's a process. We're gonna get there. We still gotta I still gotta assemble stuff for my daughter's rooms. We got their beds all put together and all that stuff, but we gotta get their like my youngest daughter. We gotta get a changing table. I gotta assemble that. We got to get like a dresser for my daughter's room. Actually, no. My youngest daughter, she needs the dresser. No, my oldest daughter, she needs the dresser because we put the dresser we had in the younger daughter's room. So she needs a dresser. So they're kind of sharing at the moment, but it's in one room. So we're kind of bouncing back and forth to. Okay, well, older daughter, she needs clothes, and it's okay. Let's go into younger daughter's room to go get them. But anyways, oh man. So what we got going on here?
Ralph Fanning Jonah has become a member. 425 days of fun.
Oh, very nice. Jonah with a members chat saying 14 months. Has been a tier 3 channel member. Jonah, thank you so very much. 425 days of fun. Absolutely awesome, buddy. I greatly appreciate it. Let's see. We got Samuel says, "Hey BDD, I'm me is on moderator blue." Hold on. Let me. There we go. We'll kick you a wrench. We'll do such things. Benji says, nope, I'm skipping ahead. Will says, that looks like the Fiat 1000 series. You are correct, sir. Fiat 1000. Ken says, Jonah BDD ran out of gas just before. I did. I absolutely did. The microphone is right in the middle of the bar, so I couldn't see it. You gotta cut me some slack there, Ken. Come on. Benji says, what size did you get? Oh, the shed, so...
Luke Marshall donated $20 through Super Chat. I appreciate you.
Luke with the $20 Super Chat. Thank you so very much, Luke. I greatly appreciate you as well. It just says, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, Luke. Thank you so very much.
Ralph Fanning Jonah donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Here's my fee for being late to the stream, lol.
Jonah with a $9.99 Super Chat says, oh.
Ken Adlam has become a member. Tied with Jonah, not bad for an old guy like me, lol.
So Jonah says, here's my late fee for being late for the stream, lol. Thank you, Jonah. Greatly appreciate it. And then Ken with a 14-month Super Chat says, tied with Jonah, not bad for an old guy like me, lol. Well, again, I greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you so very much. We got, let's see. Oh, the shed. We ended up getting a 12 by 24 shed. Because essentially I'm taking my shop and we're basically moving into that. So I mean, that's the only problem is, the old shop, it was basically a 2-car garage with a single roll-up door, and now we're trying to cram all that stuff into a 12 by 24 shed. So we'll see how that goes. I end up getting the barn loft. So it's got high ceilings and stuff and a second-story loft and all that stuff. So my father, because he ended up buying a shed. So basically how it all worked out is at the old house, he bought a shed that he put all of his stuff into. And he basically put it on the backside of the property where he was basically set up with his camper. Well, what ended up happening, we told him, hey, we're considering moving. We've got to do something. The area, we don't like it. Really, I never liked the area, but I dealt with it, kind of thing. But we told him, it's like we're looking to move and all that stuff, and he kind of, he got upset. He's like, well, I've got this basically brand new shed. He had moved in just like a couple of years in the past, and he's like, I've got this practically brand new shed. I'm gonna need a new shed, or I'm gonna have to take this one with me. And I told him, like, look, with the proceeds from the sale, we'll just buy a shed. We'll just get a new shed and we'll go from there. But now that we're kind of splitting, because he had a 12 by 12 by 16? I think it was 12 by 16. Had to get a bit bigger one. So yeah, we got one with a roll-up door because I plan on keeping a lawnmower in there. Because we actually got a decent sized property now. We got an acre. To where before we had a half-acre corner lot, now we got a full acre, and it's actually like on a private street and all that stuff. So it's nice. It's nice and quiet back here, and it's wildly dark. I forgot how dark some places can be at night, because where I was, it was all street lights. We were surrounded by street lights. So I would always, tell my wife, it's like, I really want to get like blackout curtains for our bedroom, for the girls' bedroom, so that way we can all kind of sleep at night and to the mornings. If the curtain opens just right, I'm getting, basically like Al Bundy with the street light. you know, just getting it shining right in my eyes. And it was one of those where she didn't want to have blackout curtains, so I basically lost that debate. And then after that, we ended up staying the first night here, and we both wake up relatively around the same time as each other because, you know, the girls woke up. And she's like, hey, I got a question. Which one of our neighbors has that monster light? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, there was a giant light outside, and I was wondering what neighbor has it. And both of our neighbors that we do have on our strip here, like, they're not close. So when she said this, I think I'm done. Am I done? Am I done? I think I'm done. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, no. Oh, no. I made a boo-boo. I forgot. I added... Oh. Okay. Okay. So it didn't dock me. I added precision farming to this, complete forgetting that I didn't have to plow this. Nope. There we go. And if you plow, it ruins your score when you don't have to plow. I mean, it ruins your score every time you plow, period. But that's why you don't plow when you don't have to. But I completely forgot. I didn't have to plow. But what was I saying? Oh, so she's like, well, who has the bright light outside? Because it was really bright last night. Because we slept the first night with no curtains up. We just didn't have any ways to secure the curtains. And I'm like, nobody has a street light. Like, there's no street lights around here. And I'm like, none of our neighbors have any electrical lights outside. So I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, but it was really bright out. Like, every time I'd wake up, it was just really bright. I'm like, it was the moon. It was the moon. She was commenting on how bright it was because of the moon. So it was funny. It was just kind of wild how it all kind of worked out. Let's see. We got Samuel with the LOL, Luke with an LOL. Will says, well, I'm heading up to bed. Have a good night, everyone. I just wanted to stop in and say hi. All right, Will, well, you have yourself a great night. You take care, and we'll see you again next time. Benji says, that's what size I have. Nice. Jonah says, good night to Will. Benji says, take care to Will. Ken says, tomorrow my time, I will have my 59th birthday. Oh, man, let's get an early celebration for Ken. You know, we got, we'll be a few hours early there, Ken, but, you know, 59th birthday. Awesome, man. Congratulations. Lisa, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says, hello, BDD. Just came in to say hi and give a like. I got to go to do my rounds. Have a great stream. See you later. All right, Lisa. Well, thanks for stopping in here. You take care, and we'll see you again next time. Jonah says, well, in that case, happy birthday to Ken. Like I said, give Ken a big, big something. Put a bunch of candles or a bunch of cakes in the chat there for Ken. Unfortunately, still in the hospital right now, but hopefully you don't have to spend too long on your birthday in there. Let's see. We got Jonah says, Lisa. We got Todd says, all the power lines had to go be E-Dub. No. Did it really? Did I screw up? Lisa says, or Lisa with the wave. We got Todd says, the moon till she is a city girl. Oh, yeah. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. But she's loving it out here. She's absolutely loving it. Luke says, take care. Samuel says, my dad hurt. Call 911 fire truck or EMT truck on date Tuesday 13th, 2025. Oh, no. Samuel, I'm sorry to hear that, bud. Hopefully everything's okay. Luke says hi to Lisa. Lisa with the wave. We got Jonah with the big celebration. Very nice. Todd says, just kidding. Todd, oh my goodness. I literally almost hooked up to the plow and was like, okay, here we go. So we're done. We're done with the challenge. We don't have to do that anymore. I could go to third person. Oh, yes. Look at my handiwork. Look what I did in first person with created fields. I like it. Now, I hardly have any equipment. Okay. So I've got to go get a stone picker. I'm going to get a stone picker. I'm going to pick the stones. Oh, man. Back to third person. Look at that beauty. I love it. I love it. So yeah, we'll go grab a stone picker. We'll pick up all the stones. And while the worker is working on that, I'm going to go and work on a contract because I've got a bale wrapping contract that I can go and do and make some money because I spent a little bit of money because I just bought the soil samples instead of going from there.
Jonah donated $4.99 through Super Chat. Do stone picking in first person.
Jonah, you're killing me. You're killing me. Ah. Okay. Okay. If that's what I got to do. $4.99 super chat from Jonah. Thank you so much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. It says, do the stone picking in first person. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Now that one, honestly, the stone picking one, that one's going to be way more of a hassle than the plowing was. Way more hassle. Let's see. Where am I going? Why am I so far down? There we go. Oh, hello. Just make it appear right in front of me. Thank you. There we go. All right, so let's get this back. Well, you know what? Wait. You said to do it in first person. You didn't say anything about hiring a worker. You didn't say anything about doing the GPS. So, there we go. All good to go. So yeah, we'll do, you did say to do it in first person. So I will do it, but I will do it with GPS. Yes. All right, so let's boogie back to the farm. I'm going to do the wrapping real quick because I need to have some money. I've only got 64,000. Whoa, car. Oh, my goodness. The lanes are so narrow. We're in the UK, but I'm going in this way. I don't care. All right. You know what? Bushes can't stop me. All right. So, first person. Here we go. Steering assist. Unfold. Okay. Drop down. Okay. Turn that off. All right. So, we've got Samuel says, my dad's okay. Awesome. Glad to hear it there, bud. Really glad to hear it. Luke says, good job. Taco says, good evening, chat. Good evening, Taco. How's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Benji says, hey to Lisa. Jonah with the $4.99 super chat. Samuel with the 1, 2, 3, 4 and an LOL. Also, Benji joining in as well. We got Jonah says, there's a third person in real life. There's no third person in real life. Jonah says, I would allow you to use all that stuff. Awesome. I appreciate it. I appreciate it greatly. All right. All right. So let's go ahead. Pop this open. Let's turn on the automatic drop. Boop. Nope. Hey, what? Why? Why? Why are you... Why? Why did you not pick that up? Oh, I picked it up that time. That's weird. Huh. I don't know why I did that. Alright. Yeah, auto drop. Kick it out. There we go. Perfect. This is going to take a little bit of time because this is a pretty decent sized field. We got quite a bit of baleage on this. We got, Ken says, that's a cheap contract price for stone picking, Jonah. Geez, really? You know what? That's a good point there, Ken. That's a really good point. You know, like normally stone picking, Let's see. I mean, this bale wrapping's 40 grand. Let's see. Come on. What's a good stone picking contract? Oh, here you go. $40,000. Why not? Holy smokes, that's gonna be a lot of stones. You know what? We are gonna do this one. Let's do this. Let's get them to here. And then create job, field work, down to here. Start job. What? What? Hey, what? You mean you can't reach the target? It's because I'm not on the road, isn't it? Isn't it? And you're going to be silly, aren't you? Still down there. All right, you going to go now? Are you going to work this time? Are you going to... Come on. Come, you can do it. Come on. Hello. Are you gonna just... Oh, there you go. All right, here we go. Back to work. Bing. Let's see. We got... Let's see. Pipe and Paul, how's it going? Long time no see. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says hi, Bitty D in chat. It's been a long time. Finally made a live stream. Awesome, Paul. Glad to see you made it. That's fantastic. We got Jonah says, would you do the stone picking contract by hand if it meant you get 40,000 in real life? Jonah, if somebody offered me 40 grand to pick stones from a field by hand, I guess it would just depend on the field, but I mean that's pretty good money. I'm certainly gonna think about it. To sit there and pick stones out of a field in real life for 40 grand. Like if we're talking like one of these monster fields, like one of these, like probably not by hand. I'd probably end up having to go a little bit more. A little bit more than 40, but I mean 40 grand is not something to sneeze about, you know. Let's see. Oh, but you don't know the size of the field. Oof. Gotta throw that caveat in there. Well, I mean if they wouldn't, what? No, they're going. I see movement. All right. There's so many bales. Oh. I'm not used to sitting in this chair. My poor tailbone. I miss my couch. I miss it so much. That's the only thing I miss. Oh my goodness. But no, it's one of those where if it wasn't for the previous house, I would never be able to be in this house ever. Like I wouldn't be able to afford it. So I'm grateful for the amount of time and you know hardship that we had to go through for that house in order to get here. So I am incredibly grateful and thankful. And like I said, we worked really hard on that house. I made tons of upgrades. You know, blood, sweat, and tears went into that. Ooh, I just walloped the microphone there. Holy smokes. Sorry about that. But no, like I said, blood, sweat, and tears went into that house. I completely remodeled each of the bathrooms, because it's a two-bed, mobile. I remodeled both the bathrooms. I remodeled the kitchen. I remodeled the living room. I remodeled, there was not a single room that was not touched. Not a single room that I didn't, do significant work to. So it's just one of those where I'm going to miss the memories and the good times that we had at that house, but I'm looking forward to the memories and the good times we're going to have here. And so I was mentioning before how at the old house, I was always so angry. Always so angry. There was always something that got me upset. Whether it was the thought of hurricane season coming and us having to potentially evacuate because we're in a trailer, something that's not going to stand up to even the slightest bit of wind and anything like that. Or every time I'd go to the grocery store, having homeless people, come out and, be begging for one thing or another. Having a homeless camp literally a block away from my house, and the amount of trash and refuse and nastiness that was there because of it. The driving, I couldn't leave the house without getting upset about the driving. Like I said, to drive here in Florida is an absolute nightmare on a good day. But where I'm at now, it's a single lane road. It's a get in line and enjoy the trip. That's it. And I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. What do you mean he's blocked? Oh, he is blocked. Oh, he is blocked big time. Can I snake through? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So, like I said, it's one of those where it's just a whole new ball game now. And being able to fire that back up. Being able to be in a position now where, I can sleep comfortably at night, not having to worry about, some homeless person coming by and trying to break into our cars, or, trying to break into the house or whatever. Letting my dogs out in the middle of the night without seeing somebody come stumbling through. I've literally woken up in my old house where, okay, so it's kind of a funny story, but where is that worker going now? You know what? They're gonna do their thing, and I gotta do mine. So my brother-in-law, I call him my brother-in-law. He's not technically my brother-in-law, but I call him my brother-in-law because he's the father of my two nieces. So it's just how I work. So he ended up coming over one day, and he pulled in the driveway. He's hanging out because I think, if I remember right, we had his daughters over, and they were just kind of staying over at Aunt and Uncle's house. And, oh, what now? Where? What? Who? Oh, it's a driver. There. Can you make it now? Do you think you'll be able to get there? So he comes over, he's picking up his kids, and he ends up leaving, takes his kids with him, and he comes over and knocks on my office door, or where I had my office at. And it's a sliding glass door, leads directly outside. And I open the door, and he's like, "Hey, Dave, think you've got a body in your house, in your driveway. So I think there's a dead body in your driveway. And I'm like, what? He's like, I think somebody's dead in your driveway. I'm like, so I go out there because I presumed he was just kind of goofing around. Like he's got to be joking. Like there can't be a body outside of my house. And I go out there and I'm like, where did you see this? He's like, there's legs that are poking out of that bush right there. And I'm like, okay. So I look, and sure enough, there are legs poking out of a bush that's on my property. And I'm like, oh, this cannot be good. It was about 12 o'clock in the, well, it's noon, 12 noon. So I'm like, this can't be good. So I'm like, do I kick it? Do I touch it with my foot to see if it's just somebody who's laying there? Like, hey, this is private property, or like, what do I do? So I take my foot and I kind of kick them on the bottom of the foot. I'm like, hey, are you all right? And not knowing if they're breathing, I don't know anything. I have no clue what's going on. And all of a sudden they kind of like make this kind of noise, and it's like, okay, well, that's good. At least we know they're still alive. And he kind of rolls over, he sits up, and he's like, oh, man, I'm sorry. Just partied way too hard last night. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, can you leave? You're on private property there, bud. And he gets up and he starts meandering on, like, to kind of let you know just how rough of a night they had. They not only passed out in our yard, like in a bush in our yard, they were covered head to toe in scrapes along their face and their neck because of how they fell into this bush. It's a specific type of palm. I think it's called a cabbage palm. And it's literally just this razor sharp palm that, like, it'll cut the bejeebers out of you. It will cut you, like, really badly. And he fell into this particular palm, and yeah, he was cut up pretty bad. He had some pretty good scratches on him. Well, as he's walking away, we take a look and realize he had messed himself. Like a full-blown number 2 situation. Like, took the Browns to the Super Bowl kind of thing. And yeah, he's like kind of waddling away kind of thing, like kind of stumbling and doing all that because I'm sure he's got a massive hangover. And yeah, it was just a wild situation. I mean, it's just stuff like that would happen, and I hopefully won't have to deal with that stuff. And it's been already, I've been here a week, and it's already been just an absolute night and day different scenario from what I'm used to here as opposed to where I came from. For example, the second day that we were here, we had 3 neighbors. Now, mind you, my one neighbor to the left of me is, I mean, they're not right on the property, but I mean, they're tucked away. They're tucked away a little bit. We can see their house if we look out the windows and stuff, but they're not right on top of us, kind of thing. And they came over to say hi and welcome us to the neighborhood. We had another neighbor come by on the other side of us over here, welcome us to the neighborhood. And then the one across the street, they welcomed us to the neighborhood, and they gave us a little, like, card. Like, hey, welcome, and gave us their phone numbers and all that stuff. And they gave us, like, a little $20 Domino's gift card. It was so sweet. And it's like, if I was moving to my old neighborhood, like, nobody, like, I went years without even interacting with any of my neighbors. Years. And then probably about 2-ish years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I just started talking to the neighbor who is the closest to me right next door. Like if I was in my kitchen, I could see into their kitchen. That's how close they were. And him and I, we just got to talking one day, and he just kind of, unfortunately his wife passed of cancer and all that stuff, and all that stuff. So we just kind of talked, and he was letting me know that he has, small kids, which I knew he had kids. Like one's a teenager maybe, and the other's like maybe 11-ish. And because we got to talking so much, he kind of let me know, hey, I'm going back to work and all that stuff, because he obviously took time off because of his wife passing and all that. He was going back to work. He was like, hey, if my kids are home, like they'll come home after school and I might not be at home, can you kind of, look in and keep an eye out for them, making sure like the house doesn't burn down or something. I'm like, oh, absolutely. I'll definitely be, keep an eye on the joint for you if that's what you need. Absolutely. So whenever his kids would get home from school, they'd walk home from the bus stop and all that stuff. And I'd see them go walking past the house, because the way that they had to go, they had to come up the one street that we were on, that the one street, because we were on the corner lot, like I mentioned, and then they would come around and they would cross over, and they were to our left if we were looking out our driveway. So I would see them from my office, coming, walking up and going to their house, all the time. So it was just one of those, that I didn't mind, kind of looking out for them and keeping an eye on them. Like I said, they're a bit younger, so it was one of those that, I was happy to do the neighborly thing, kind of thing. And, him being a single dad now and all that, I was more than happy to help out where we could. And, it kind of sparked like a nice little friendship. I was able to kind of, my wife, because she, likes to bake every once in a while, she'd bake them like fresh loaves of bread and cookies for the kids and, all that, all sorts of stuff, so it was just one of those. It was kind of nice. It kind of, made me sad. Like, hey, that's the one kind of cool thing about the neighborhood, is like we got the one neighbor right next to us that, we're going to miss, because he was a nice guy, kind of thing. So, but anyways, let me catch up with the chat. We got, where am I? Luke says, are you doing okay, Dave? I'm doing fantastic. We got Benji says, all depends on the size of the field. Yes, 100%. Benji also says, the sad part is the whole situation, stones are more expensive than bricks. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Jonas says, I got to drive a train this past... Ooh, like a legit train? Like a full-blown train? Oh my goodness. This chair, though. That's awesome, Jonah. Let's see. Luke says, hope you're happier than new house. Oh, like night and day, Luke. Night and day difference here at this place, man. I tell you what. Todd says, so probably no more DoorDash being you're in a new country. You're a new country. I think it's let's see. I recommend tasers and mace to do a body check your body. Yeah. If I wasn't worried about like ruining a potential crime scene, then yes, I would have. But you better believe that I grabbed my how do I say this? The boomstick. I grabbed my boomstick when I went out there. That was definitely, because I had no idea what to expect for when that happened. So yeah, it was one of those where definitely came out prepared. Jonas says, yes, the train that's... Oh, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Samuel says, truck moving U-Haul. I did a U-Haul. I got a 26-footer U-Haul, and I got a pod as well, which they're going to be delivering that to us here on the 26th, I believe, is when they're dropping that off. But the pod is like, that was all the heavy stuff. Oh, my goodness. And here's a funny tale. So my dad, he also got a pod for a lot of his stuff. And my dad, he's a former heavy-duty equipment mechanic. He used to work for a construction company. He used to work on big case equipment, all that stuff. And he's got all the big toolboxes and all that stuff. Like, his toolbox is probably about 600 pounds empty. Like, it's massive. This thing is huge. And he's got all of his old tools and all that stuff. Well, so he got his pod, and I was telling you all that because his pod was the small one. He got like the 8x8 pod. He should have gotten a bigger one. But anyways, so he is loading up the pod and doing all that stuff, and it finally comes time for them to pick up the pod. And I don't know if you all have ever seen a pod be picked up, but basically the whole apparatus that comes to pick up the pod is, think of a wrecker, like a tow truck. Think of one of those, a flatbed, but it has this contraption on it, and this contraption is basically a giant rectangle that sits on the bed, but it's got its own Honda motor that's attached to it, and it runs a set of hydraulics. And this rectangle thing has chains that holds the pod, that holds the container, to it. But what it does is it will, lower these legs straight down. So you got, four, sets of 4 legs, individual legs, and it lowers down to the ground and lifts up off of the trailer, and then it's got tires on each of the legs. It'll walk over to where the pod is. It'll go over the pod and then drop down, giving you access to the chains and the hook points. And then after it's chained up, it then raises the whole pod up in the air and then crawls back over to the wrecker, or to the flatbed, and drops it down on the bed itself. And then it all compacts back around the pod on the backside of this wrecker. And it's one of the coolest things that I've seen. But my dad, when he was getting his picked up, it was on the backside of the yard, on the backside of the property, where his camper was. That's where they had him drop it off. Well, the guy ends up hooking up to it. He's lifting up in the air, and as he's getting ready to get going, because Florida is pretty much nothing but sand around here, as soil, the back tire started to get buried. Like, it wouldn't actually crawl. So the guy, in order to try and alleviate the weight that was on that tire, decided to raise all the wheels with the exception of the back tire that was stuck, and then take all the weight off of it. Well, what ended up happening is, because of the weight of the pod, 2 out of the 4 wheels on one side ended up tipping up. And it was like in perfect balance to where it was just kind of hanging with 2 wheels. But the problem is that the pod is right next to my dad's camper, and had this thing gone totally, cattywampus at that point, it would have smashed right into the trailer. He came this close to having something else fall into his camper, and it was just one of those, like, oh my goodness, is this real life? Like, just seeing this happen. And my dad, he sees this and he starts freaking out. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's screaming at the guy because it's got, like I said, it's got its own motor, and you're operating it right next to the motor. So he's like screaming as loud as he can to make sure the guy hears him. And he's like pointing to the wheels off the ground, the 2 wheels off the ground. And the guy's like, oh, and he like lowers it down, like emergency style. And he was able to eventually crawl it out of there. But it was just one of those, like, man, was that like a really hairy situation right there. And the problem that I would have seen is, if they would have dropped that, I don't know how they would have been able to pick it back up. I just don't. I have no clue at that point. Yeah, it would have been bad. Bad. Let's see. Samuel says, okay. We got Jonah says, what's even cooler is I had the engine of HO. Had that. Oh, you had that engine HO scale. Nice. That's awesome, man. Again, congratulations. Todd says, you know, Rusty Money works at a Case Part Supply. I did know that. Yes, I knew. I knew he worked at the Case Supply, and he also, well, being former law enforcement, that's where he went to after the law enforcement. But yeah, no, he, my father, he, you know, he worked on all the big cat, you know, construction equipment, or Case, all the big Case construction equipment that this construction company had. Yeah, like he's got this wrench, and I swear this thing, I will forever have this thing in my nightmares. This thing weighs a metric ton. Like, it's nuts. But the head of it, the wrench itself, is like this big around. Like, using my head as scale, like, it is massive. This thing is massive. Like, it looks more like a club than a wrench. Let's see. 42%. Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, wow. Oh my. Like I said, y'all, I am tired. It's been moving, assembling, moving some more. I found the local dump the other day, which that was actually kind of cool. And what I'm having a really hard time adjusting to at this new place is the trash schedule. So it's not uncommon here in Florida to have trash pickups twice a week. To where when I lived in Michigan, it wasn't uncommon to have it only once a week. Uh-oh. How do I unload you? Well, I'll worry about that later. That'll be future Dave's problem. But it's not unusual to have, you know, trash pickup when I was in Michigan once a week. So, okay, fine. Well, when I came down here to Florida, it's not unusual to have it twice a week because, you know, trash stinks pretty bad in the hot Florida sun. It just does. Well, when we moved and I was setting up trash services and all that stuff, I asked them, okay, well, what days are pickup days? You know, expecting, okay, twice a week and all that stuff. They're like, Mondays. What? Wait, Monday? Like, once a week? It's like, they're like, yeah, once a week. Like, they're talking to me like I'm the crazy one. Like, I'm like, you realize we're in Florida, right? Like, trash stinks after a while in the sun? Like, oh, yeah, no, we get it. Once a week. Mondays. Have a good day. It was almost exactly like that. It's like, oh, yeah, Mondays. Have a good day. It was wild. It was so wild to talk to them and to have that kind of conversation. It's like, oh, yeah, we're aware. What? Oh, no. Are you serious? I am all out of wrap. Alright, well. Gotta go and get some more wrapping. Are you gonna fold? No, scoot. Okay, now it's folding. Now we're getting there we go. Holy smokes. I feel like that's not a lot of wraps that you have for this particular unit. Oh well, it is what it is. Alright, tell you what, let's have the worker zip this back over. Nope. Alright, set destination. Like that. And now, alright. So, let's see. Samuel says, I'm at 70 subscribed and 10 videos for 334 views now at my channel. That's awesome, Samuel. Keep up the good work. We got Luke says they would have to use a crane. Oh yeah, no doubt, they would have to use a crane. It would have been absolutely nuts to try and get that, because like I said, just that one toolbox alone is at least 6, maybe pushing 700 pounds. Like, we had me, my dad, my brother-in-law, and my buddy all out there trying to heave this thing manually by hand to get it out of the shed that we had put it into, get it out of there, and then kind of drag it across the sand into the pod. It was nuts trying to just lug this thing, to bear hug this thing across the little gap that we had between the pod and the shed where it was sitting. I'm not looking forward to that thing showing up. I'm not looking forward to that at all. Jonah says, well, that's a silage wrap. Yes. Love the Farm Sim Talk reference. Love it. By the way, be on the lookout for some more Farm Sim Talks coming out here very, very soon. We're going to start getting back to normal here on the channel. So we're going to start doing Farm Sim Talk. We started doing agribusiness on Sunday. We got the live stream going on here right now. We've got the role play series that we're doing. So all that stuff, all of it is going to be hitting this channel hard. So be on the lookout for it. We got Samuel says, I'm Trash Truck, run 2 days, Mondays and Thursdays. And that's what we had, is we had Mondays and Thursdays was our pickups for twice a week down here at our old place. Now it's once a week. And I called around because I wanted twice a week. That's like, I'm really worried that storing the can outside, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be so gnarly after a while. And they made me buy my own trash can. I've never heard of that. It's a branded trash can that I own. I've never heard of a company doing that. Had to pay like $100 and... Oh my goodness, this cord is driving me up a wall. I had to spend, what was it, 100... It was like 115 or 120 bucks for a trash can, like a 90-some gallon trash can that it has their brands all over it, but I own it. Is just that just blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And I asked him, it's like, okay, well, could I just go to Walmart and buy a trash can for, like 40 bucks cheaper, or however much it was? And they're like, no, we won't take it. You have to have one of our cans and you have to buy it. Like, so what you're telling me is that I have to buy your can, I have to go with that, but if I ever leave your service for one reason or another, it's my can that I keep? Like, yeah. I just, like Jean-Luc Picard, like, I'm sitting there with my phone in one ear, doing one of these numbers, and I literally take my hand and I'm just like, the head rub and everything, like, yeah, that's how it worked. Taco says, you ever use Google Maps? Street View is absolutely nuts how similar the maps look. Oh yeah, there's actually a video out there. I don't have it right this second, but it's literally a shot-for-shot view of the video game side by side with the actual farm itself for this map, Oak Bridge Farms. Like, it is mind-boggling. It just completely blew my mind when I saw that. Like, wow, Oxygendavid did a fantastic job on this map. It is mind-boggling how good it is. It's nuts. Jonah says, our town can't seem to keep the trash company because no one wants to come out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, that's the bugger about being out out in the middle of nowhere, is the services you do get are very sparse. So it's one of those, like, the area I'm in is like one of those kind of, I guess you could call it like an up and coming kind of neighborhood. And the thing is, though, the thing that kind of makes me like, okay, this is still an okay area to kind of set up roots and all that stuff, is the large acreage that the lots are. Like, each lot is at minimum 1 acre, minimum. in this immediate area, and they won't sparse it out any further than that. So at no point will I have like any more neighbors pop up, kind of thing, because my one neighbor on the one side of me owns 2 acres. He bought 2 lots, and the neighbor on the other side of me, they bought 2 acres. So I'm right in the middle of the 2 of them. They're 2 acres. Nobody's going to build up around me. They could build up potentially across the street, but not to my left, not to my right. It's established. It's done. And I'm okay with that. I'm happy about that. I need wrap. There we go. Now we go here and we boop. Nice. Spend all that money just for 8 sheets of wrap, but meh. Alright, let's do this. You know what? Let's just go the quick way. Oh, wait. No. Let's drop this. Drop that there. Let's do this. We'll grab the trailer. We'll bring it over to the stone picker. We'll just like drop it off there for right now. There we go. Something like that. Oof. Come on. This tractor is not happy about towing this trailer. Holy smokes. Let's see. Jonas said, nope, I read that already. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's just like I was saying there, is just being now back into a smaller town and all that stuff. The services are vastly different. I mean, like I said, the one good thing I could say about where I was is I had amazing internet. The symmetrical, one gig up, 1 gig down, allowed me to have really nice, high quality streams and all that stuff, without worrying about anything along those lines. And so far, it seems like I'm checking it on occasion to make sure that nothing looks odd from my end. And so far, everything's looking good. So yeah, it was just one of those, like, that was a deep concern when doing the move and potentially coming out here was, oh man, am I going to be able to get a internet provider that's going to be even halfway decent? That was my biggest concern. I mean, because obviously I have to have internet for work, because my wife and I would both work remote. So internet is a must. We must have it. And then YouTube, I love doing YouTube, but it's one of those, like, that I've got to make sure that I got the minimum, which is the basis of work covered. And now, it is what it is. And if I had to ratchet down the quality or do something along that line in order to get out to where it was going to be a better life for the family, that's what I was willing to do. But sounds like, so far at least, that the stream's coming through fine, that it's all coming, everything is good. So happy about that. Now that that's like that, dump that out like so. Now you'll stop just wasting my money. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Alright, let's go get that wrapper. Wrapper. Oh my goodness. I'm a child. Such a child. Anyways. Ken says a YouTuber called Argsy Gaming is creating a 2K New Zealand map called Winchester. Ooh, very nice. And then Ken also says, yes, it is for FS25, hopefully for all platforms. Very cool. That would be nice. New Zealand is a beautiful country. I'm pretty sure that's where they recorded Lord of the Rings, if I'm not mistaken. And it's funny, though. I was actually... so I mentioned earlier in the stream how I've been watching that YouTube channel called Mr. Ballin'. And as I mentioned, it's a YouTube channel that's dedicated to the strange, mysterious, kind of campfire stories kind of things. The best way I can describe it. And one of them was on a story about New Zealand. And it actually got me thinking of you, Ken and Pippa, after hearing about it. But apparently there was a farmer that he was a sheep farmer way back when. And so basically, us being very familiar with, the whole, sheep farming or, farming simulator and all that stuff, I'll skip the, minute details that they ended up covering. But save it to say that they ended up, taking all their sheep in, the farmer, to shear them. And as they were shearing them, most of his sheep were all fine and dandy. They lined up, waited their turn, and doing all that stuff. But he had one sheep in particular that was kind of like the loner of the flock. He ended up doing the exact opposite that any other normal sheep would have done. And eventually, he found a way to escape this particular shearing event. And he ended up going out this back gate that was slightly left open, and he took off. And the farmer didn't realize it right away. So what ended up happening is on the back side of the farmer's property, there was a giant, I don't want to say mountain, but like a very large hill structure with caves and all that stuff. Well, the sheep ended up making its way up this hillside and going into one of these caves, and that's where it lived for 6 years. The farmer just assumed, because the sheep, he couldn't find it, just assumed that it ran off and died. Well, one day the farmer was out on the backside of his property, and he just so happened to look up, and he saw this giant ball of fluff out in the corner of his eye. And he looks and he sees on the hillside, in tucked away on the hillscape, was a sheep. And it was this giant ball of fluff. So apparently, wild sheep, they'll shed their wool naturally over the years, but a domesticated sheep will not. It'll just keep growing and growing and growing. And that's what happened to this one sheep. And apparently, it was such an event that this sheep was not only found alive, but that they found it in such a radical state that they ended up doing a live broadcast of the shearing of the sheep. It was that big of a deal in this local town. And the sheep's name was called Shrek. And they ended up, like I said, they ended up televising it, doing all that. There was enough wool on this sheep for them to have made, was it 6 or 8? I can't remember the exact number, but it was 6 or 8 full-bodied suits for a large adult male. That's how much wool was on this one sheep after it was sheared. It was just a funny story. Let's see. Ken says you are correct, BDD. Taco says I live very remote of urban population. I love it. Good internet, 6 minutes walking distance from work. No traffic lights, no traffic congestion. Just love it. That sounds amazing, Taco. That sounds amazing. Like the best of all worlds. You get to be close by without, sacrificing the positives that do come from, living in a quote-unquote urban area. But I don't know, me personally, those benefits are just not worth it for me. which is why I was willing to kind of sacrifice. I was willing to kind of, okay, well, yeah, I had good internet. I had 1 gig up, 1 gig down. Now I have, I think it's 2 gigs down, but 300 up. So it's one of those, like, it's a drastic cut. It's specifically for the live streams. Like that's the one part I was really worried about is, okay, I went from a gig up, which is, that's what I need in order to be able to project into the YouTube space, going from 1 gig to 300 megs, it's a pretty drastic cut. So I was worried about that. I was worried that, hey, live streams might not be a thing after this move. I'm glad to see that it's not the case. I'm really glad about that. Because I love doing these live streams. I love hanging out with y'all and chatting and seeing how everyone's day is going and, telling these stories about things that I've done in my day and all that. I love it. So I would have been crushed. But it's something I would have had to have been okay with. Because it's more important to me that, that my family has the place that they need. The place that we want. And I'm glad that it's now the best of all worlds. It's, I'm in a place where it's quiet, it's peaceful. The neighbors, the people are friendly. I'm not having to deal with homeless people all the time. Every time I leave the house, I'm not angry when I get into my car and having to drive up to town. I'm not angry going to Walmart. Sitting there thinking, like I remember when I used to work at these stores, at retail stores, and thinking, man, I hate my job, but I would never have taken it out on the customers. I would always give them a smile, hey, how are you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day, all that stuff. Like I understand, like working at Walmart, working at like these retail gigs are not like ideal. But I had forgotten what customer service was until I came here. And the first time I'd gone into, the Walmart and had every single person, greet me with a smile, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? And it was just, that's when it dawned on me that we're finally back in a small town. We're in a small town where, people do get to know each other. People do get to learn each other's names and interact and socialize, kind of thing. It's funny. I'm wearing a shirt right now. One of my channel merch stores. You can't hardly read it because it's kind of tattered, but it's a bad day at the farm is way better than a good day in the city, and I truly believe that. And part of the reason why I believe that is because, like I said. And I've experienced this. For years, that you can be in a city filled with millions upon millions upon millions of people, and feel so incredibly alone. And what I mean by that is not like you're actually physically alone, like there's nobody else there. It's that you don't get that human connection, that contact with people. It's wild. It's one of the most wild phenomenons. I forget what exactly it's called, but you go out to a small town and like everybody's friendly, everybody's talking to you, they're letting you know about how their day is and all that stuff, and like you'll even find out more than what you're wanting to know in a small town. But you go to a city and you might say all of 2 words to somebody, maybe. Like, hi, how are you? Kind of thing. And it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me. I'd much rather be in the small town where it's intimate and where people are friendly. People are genuinely friendly. They're genuine when they say, how are you doing today? Like they want to know. And I love it. So yeah, so far has been the best week of my life here in Florida. I've lived in Florida since 2004. and I wish that, wish I would have lived out here sooner. I wish we would have done this sooner. But everything worked out. Everything worked out. Everything aligned for and came together. I mean, at the end of the day, I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see. Let's get this. Actually, this will be a good time to do all the shout outs and stuff. So let me do that real quick. Let's click on that. Do this. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and give out all of our member shout outs, starting out with our tier 3 channel members. So starting out with, we got Rail Fanning Jonah, Pipin Paul, Ken Adlam, Philippa Thompson, and Philippa Thompson, sorry. All of them are tier 3 channel members, and thank you all so very much for being tier 3 channel members. Now moving on to our channel, our tier 2 channel members. If I can talk, words are hard. There we go. We got Mark K, Lonnie Johansson, Reaver Time Todd, and Kiwi Sim Farmer. Thank all of you for being tier 2 channel members. And if you're interested in becoming a channel member and helping out the channel grow and be sustainable, go ahead and check out the link in the description below, or the join button also listed below and on the main channel page. There you can gain access to things such as custom badges, custom emojis. You also get early access to the edited content such as the roleplay series there on Matopiba, as well as channel shorts. All that for 99 cents a month. That's for tier 1 members. Tier 2 members get everything I just mentioned before, plus they get a shout out every single live stream, just like what you just heard there. That starts at $4.99 a month. And then lastly, tier 3s, they get everything I just mentioned, plus they get a custom discount code to the channel merch store. On top of that, they get the ability to come join me here for live streams. I've been kind of lacking on that one here as of late. But that, again, is going to pick back up here very, very soon. So I do apologize for that one, but that is coming back. That starts at $9.99 a month. So again, thank you all so very, very much for being channel members. Greatly appreciate every single one of you. I also want to thank all of the channel subscribers. Everybody who hit that subscribe button, thank you all so very, very much. Currently, we're at 2,700 subscribers, almost up to 2,800 subscribers. It's fantastic. This channel has been growing very, very well, and I'm greatly appreciative to every single one of you that has hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the like button if you haven't yet. Helps out the channel a lot. It sends us out to all the different algorithms that looks for those likes and engagement. So again, if you hit that like button, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so very, very much. Also want to give a shout out to the channel merch store. If you're interested in also helping to support this channel, but want a little something more for your dollar, go ahead and check out the channel merch store. We've got a ton of stuff over there. We got shirts, we got hats, we got cups, we got mugs, we got bottles, we got thermoses. We've got pretty much anything with, I mean, very little exceptions. We got stickers, like I said, the whole 9 yards. Go check out the I Live for the 4 Fs. Turn around to find out what the 4 Fs are. We've got Jasper. We've got, back when he was doing his little shenanigans. Now, not so much. He's a good one. We're going to have to put out an updated line with, some friendly Jasper, the friendly farmyard ghosts. Actual branded, merch as well. So go check it out. And I want to thank everybody who's made a purchase there at the store. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. We got people like Jonah, Jody, Ken, Will. We've got Crimea River. We got so many people who've gone out and purchased stuff from the store. So again, thank you all so very, very much. Don't have to show off the P.O. box at the moment because we don't have one right now, but that will be making a return, and I didn't get any screenshots for today, so let's go ahead and get back to farming. Let's see. Let's go ahead and... Oh, I got to switch back over to this screen here. There we go. Let's see. Just taking a look around. We got this vast expanse of bales all over the place. Holy smokes. Let's see. Jonah says, my town only has one traffic light. You know what? I love it. I love small towns. I grew up in a small town. Only had, I think it was like 70 graduating students in my high school. So really, really small town. I loved it. I absolutely loved having that experience growing up. So yeah, it's good to be back. We got Ken says, I saw that program about the sheep and it made the national news. Shrek was carrying over 200 pounds of wool on the body. Yes. Yeah, it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. When I heard this story, it was like, wow, that is really cool. And the fact that he survived up in the hills for years was just incredible. It was nuts. Let's see. Jonah giving himself a shout out. Thank you so much, Jonah. We got the all the custom badges, emojis there. Again, thank you, Jonah. Whiskey Creek Farms. Luke, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says hi there, BDD. Hi there, Jonah. Ken says, what up, Whiskey? Jonah says, Whiskey. We got Whiskey says, hey there, Ken. Just playing construction sim. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. We are just rocking and rolling here. We just completed a challenge from Reaver Time Todd as well as Jonah, where we did a first-person create a field, plowing while creating fields turned on, as well as them joking and saying I had to go east to west the whole time. Oh my goodness! But no, it's it's a good day. It's gonna be a good day. Like I said, I've been here a week and I haven't been able to stop smiling. Like just looking around and just feeling that peace, that calmness I've been craving for years. It's finally here. It's finally here. And yeah, I'm just happy. Happy. There we go. Let's keep on picking up these bales. Now, it is, 11:42? Oh, hey, there's a bale right there. I think we're going to do a hard cutoff at 12 o'clock. Like I said, I need to be able to catch up on some sleep. I have been basically burning the candles at both ends. With the move, I just went back to work yesterday. So waking back up waking back up for work, specifically, but with a 3-year-old and a almost 1-year-old. Wow, she's gonna be. Holy smokes! I just dawned on me. She's gonna be 1 in. Let's see, hold on. 2 weeks from tomorrow. No, wait. Yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow. Wow. My babies are growing up. Sad face. Oh my goodness. Wow, she's gonna be 1. I don't have to buy formula anymore. That's gonna save us so much money. Oh. She can go on to regular milk. Oh, that's going to be a good day. That's going to be a good day. Oh, my goodness. For those who have yet to experience children, actually having their own, formula, diapers, all that stuff, massively expensive. Massively expensive. And specifically the formula that we buy for our kids, it's the we did it for our eldest daughter. We're doing it for our youngest right now. It's the Infamil NeuroPro. It's like $55 for a jug of this stuff. It is massively expensive. But oh my goodness, it's nuts. I tell you what, though, was one of those where probably the most scared I think I've ever been in my entire life was a few years ago when the pandemic was like really starting to kick off, and they had all those formula shortages because of the downstream of, you know, the pandemic and all that. Because I keep up with the news, I pay attention to what's going on and all that stuff, I kind of had a feeling that something big was on the horizon, and that I talked my wife into, like, look, you know, at the time we just had the one, but I talked her into, like, look, we gotta go and buy a lot. We need to get a lot of formula because this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be really, really bad. This is gonna mess up a lot of oh goodness, why can't I think of the word? The transportation and then the economy and all this stuff. This is gonna have a really bad downstream effect, and it's gonna affect a lot of the really big important items. And sure enough, formula like started to become a scarcity. Like I couldn't find formula in my local stores at all. There was like nothing. And yeah, thankfully we bought quite a bit, like before it was like really, like before the runs were really starting to become a thing. Like I was really, really early to that. So it was one of those that I didn't feel bad for buying as much as we did, because there was weeks before the time we started buying and the time it started like people really started to panic shop. But it's because I keep up with the news, I keep up with, you know, current events, I was able to predict that happening. And then it also worked itself out where there was a downstream effect as well, because there was a factory in Michigan that ended up not blowing up, but they basically had I think it was a E. coli outbreak or something within the factory. So they basically scrubbed, you know, tons and tons of product from the supply chains. And yeah, it was not a good. But again, thankfully I was able to not be one of those parents that had to worry about that stuff, because I paid attention, I looked ahead. So I don't know what got me talking about that. It just got me thinking about it. Let's see. Got where was I? There we go. Samuel says, much Christmas shopping, 50% off. 50%? I mean, might consider doing discounts for the holidays. Absolutely. Let's see. We got Ken saying, make sure Todd and Jonah make good on their promises. Make sure Todd and Jonah. Remind me again, Ken, what promises? Because I don't know what promises to keep them honest on. Taco says, your kids are younger than my grandkids. Well, so my wife and I, we started very late. I'm 40, almost 42. But the problem is that we had to do in vitro fertilization, you know, for a couple of reasons. But I mean, that's what we had to do. That's what we had to do. And in vitro is not cheap. It's not cheap at all. It costs tens of thousands of dollars when everything's all said and done. You know, but I look at my kids and it's like, you know what? I'd spend that money 10 times over if I could to bring them into existence. They are the best decision I've ever made in my life. They've given me so much drive and focus that I didn't have before. You know, that's why I can stay up, you know, until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning most nights doing YouTube as a side gig, and, you know, have a full-time job and take care of the 2 kids and wake up, you know, at 3 in the morning when my daughter, you know, comes crawling into bed, kind of thing. Like, it's one of those where like I said, they brought purpose to me. And I want to make sure that they got everything that they need. So, gonna be working hard. To make sure it happens. Let's see. Taco also says, "Mommy's milk. Forget the." So, unfortunately, that wasn't a long-term option for us. Yes, although that's what we wanted, just wasn't able to work it out like that. So, yeah, it just. Yeah, I you know what? I'm not going to get into all the details around that one, but yeah, it just unfortunately wasn't. We weren't able to. We would have loved to. Would love to have kept it up longer. Just didn't work. There we go. Taco says my second daughter had 2 IVF kids. Know everything about it. Oh yeah. Like it's a process. Like it is a whole ordeal. Like I remember when my wife was going through all that stuff, I had to give her the injections. You got to give injections every night for like a month straight. Like it's nuts. Like it's not just a straightforward. Okay, here we're gonna go retrieve the egg, get the father's donation and all that stuff, and then boop boop in the lab and done, kind of thing. Like it's one of those where like it's really hard. It's really hard, especially on the woman. Like I said, she's got to get daily injections. She's got to get all sorts of hormones and all sorts of stuff. Like it's nuts. Like I wouldn't wish anybody to have to go through the IVF process. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, because it's a process that you don't know. You're basically, spending all this money for a maybe. And thankfully, we were lucky to have it go right twice. So we were the lucky ones. But and I'll tell you how lucky we are. So when we went through the process, the kind of generalized process, the overarching process, for those who don't know, is they will inject the woman with a whole bunch of hormones and all this type of stuff to have them hyperproduce a lot of eggs, and then based on that they will then fertilize the eggs in order to get the most amount of viable offsprings possible, because then they can start the implantation process, and if the woman's able to accept the process, then baby's good to go. Well, on average, the average person, when they are producing the eggs, will get 10, 12, 20 eggs when they're harvested. My wife and I had 4. And of the 4, 2 of them were on the grading scale good enough to be able to proceed with the next steps, kind of thing. So it was one of those where we only had the 2. We only had the 2, and we got lucky with both. So yeah, it was thankfully it all worked out. And that's yeah. Oops. Wasn't paying attention that the claw had opened. There we go. Let's see. We got. Okay, Ken says, about your challenge you completed, just can't remember what they promised, LOL. Well, I remember Todd gave a super chat in the last stream, so I think that was, I think that's all that was requested from it. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to get like a pillow or something for this chair, because holy smokes. Taco says her 3rd kid was conceived naturally, but was born with C-section at 32 weeks. and she was lucky. They wanted to do a C-section at 28 weeks. Everything is good now. In the end, that it is all that matters. Healthy and growing, 100%. 100%. And congratulations, Taco. That's awesome. Congratulations to you and your kid. Yeah, kids are a blessing. They are an absolute blessing. Yeah, so 3 times over, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Jonah says, okay, we promise to leave him alone for a while, but not forever. Oh. You know what? It's all good, Jonah. It is all good. Oops. And that page crashed. Let's get that back up. There we go. Let's do that. There. Perfect. And looks like we're just about done. We only got a few more. Oh, we got a bale that's hiding in the shadows over there. I barely saw that one right underneath the tree over there. Could barely make that out. And that'd be the one bale that we need to get but couldn't find. Look at that. It is just... That bale is a ninja. It's hiding in the shadows. In plain daylight. Oh man, do I have enough bale wrap? This is going to be close. This is going to be real close. Let's see. Samuel says, I'm ready for bedtime. It's 11:54 here to 2:36 a.m. Whew. Yeah, it's... Yeah, it's a... Ooh, hey, there's a bale right there. Come on, turn. There we go. Yeah, it's about 4 minutes to midnight. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and complete this contract here, and then we are going to call it an evening. Because, yeah, like I said, I need to get my beauty sleep. Gotta revitalize. Oh my goodness. But you know what? I want to thank everybody who's stopped out here tonight, hung out. If you throw a like onto that onto the stream, I greatly appreciate it. Oh man, I'm glad that things are starting to settle out and starting to get back to normal. That's honestly the biggest thing that I'm so happy about is the kind of returning to normalcy. And we're getting there one day at a time. One day at a time, we're getting there. Put this over here. Let's see, 1, 2, I think 3 more. Man, I hope I have enough wrap. This is going to be so close. Watch, I get to the last bale. The last one, and then it's like, nope, you're out. Like, I'll be able to wrap this one here. I'll be able to wrap that one over there. Nope. Ah. That. Really? Like, that's... Back to the shop. This thing takes forever to fold back up. Like, I just want you to tuck it behind and yeah, that's all I wanted. Alright, so... So I'm just screaming through people's fields. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Let's see. Let's see. Taco says, grandkids are a bigger blessing. All the joy, none of the hassle. It stinks. You give it back. It is annoying. You give it back. It's loud. You give it back. Love being a granddad. I love being granted. Yeah. Yep. That's it. That's it. You're absolutely right. You get to have all the perks of, you know, the cuteness and the cuddles and the love and the affection, but none of the like day-to-day responsibility. Yeah. No, that's my father. You know, he says it all the time. He says it all the time. It's like, hey, you want me to watch the kids? You want me to hang out with them? You want to do this, that, and the other? And I'm like, you sure? You just watched them, you know, just yesterday, kind of thing. It's, oh yeah, I get to take them back to you at the end of the day. It's like, okay, if that's what you want. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. Let's see. Whiskey says, nope, keep going. It's only 2100. I know. No, it's late. It's late there, Whiskey. I'm sorry, but definitely going to be packing it in. But stick around for those who want to. I will be redirecting the stream. I will see if anybody else is streaming some content at the time of this show wrapping. And we'll head on over to someplace else. Let's see. Let's go ahead and kick that on. There we go. Jonah says you should have brought it up. Brought what up? Jonah also says, so you're the one that keeps driving and destroying my crops. Maybe. We're going to blame it on Klaus. It's Klaus's fault. Maybe that's why he's such a terror around the farm. Maybe that's why he hates us so much, is that we blame him for things that aren't necessarily his fault, but we're going to blame him anyways. By Joe, I think he's got it. Let's see if I... Ooh. I'm just going to keep cutting through and getting to where we got to get. Let's see. Oops. Oh no! Cut through the wrong section. There we go. Right there. Alright. We got Luke saying, good stream, BDD. Take care. I appreciate it, Luke. Thank you so much for stopping by. You take care, and we'll see you next time. We got Taco says, it's midnight here. What time is that? Oh, hey, there's a wall right there. It is midnight. It is midnight right now. Luke says, I'm still getting comments on my shorts. That's awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to check it out right after the stream here. Uh-oh. Speaking of Klaus, yeah, stop blaming me for everything. I will stop blaming you for everything when you stop doing everything. I might not have all the reasons and all the things, like, exact as to what you've done, but the things that you do, like, if you were just tone it down a little bit there, Klaus, just saying, then my blaming you unjustifiably would be unjustified. But all I'm doing is playing the numbers game. I'm playing the odds. And odds are you're to blame. Luke says LOL. We got Ken says best thing about being grandfather is bumping up the grandkids' sugar levels and then giving them back to the parents. In that, yeah. Oh my goodness. Thankfully, my father has not figured that part out yet. I think it's because they're still a bit young, so he doesn't try to give them a whole bunch of garbage. But I know that day is coming. I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. There we go. Let's get this job done. We got Klaus says, it's not my fault the workers are bad at driving. Luke says, that's funny, Ken. Taco says, the sugar level is a myth. Yeah, oh yeah, no, I know. Let's see. One more bale. Is this going to be it? Hopefully I didn't miss any. I probably missed some. Okay, 98. Drop it off. Okay, come on. Come on. Can we complete? Can we complete? Let's see. 99. 99. Come on. Come on. 99. No. What's going on? Why is it 99? Oh, there it is. 99. Drop it. 100. Yes! Contract complete. Ha ha ha. Look at us go. Oh, $41,407. Booyah! And now we're back over 100K. And just like that, we are at the end. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look and see if anybody else is streaming at the moment. Let's see. Let's go here to here. Okay. Is anybody live? Oh, I'm live. Oh, here we go. How about this guy? Hobby Corner. Let's see. Let's go ahead and copy the link. And I will post that into the chat. There we go. Let's see. So we got Luke says, I need to make more shorts. Taco says, my wife and I have a restaurant. We have a sign that says, unattended kids will get the Red Bull and the kitten. That's awesome. That is hilarious. Luke says, don't forget to hit the like button, everyone. I appreciate it, Luke. Yes, hit the like button. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. Greatly appreciate every single one of you for stopping by tonight. Thank you all so very, very much. Samuel says, I'm out by a good, great night. Y'all, see you soon. And next live stream later, y'all. And tomorrow, good, great, nice work day, y'all. All right. Thank you so very much, Samuel. I greatly appreciate you stopping by tonight. You have a great one. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to this other stream real quick. And if you want to, come on over and join me. We'll see y'all over there. I hope y'all enjoyed this stream. And if you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. The shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care.